What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, when you look at Kelvin Benjamin, guys, he's 6'5", he's 245 pounds. He's probably a Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end.
It's not the Dallas Cowboys, but it's a start.
You love this. And then whoop, and then
Oh, the Denver Broncos.
Now stay tuned for 6 hours of exciting football action.
Bears trying to cross midfield.
Oh, that's right. It's Sunday the 28th of April. It's the day after the draft, and boy, am I tired. Adam and I are going to break it down for you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, won't you? Hit it.
They called him the Galloping Gazelle. His habitat the frozen tundra of Soldier Field. For 6 seasons and 2 Pro Bowls, he grazed on the tasty green turf of the end zone. Until one fateful Sunday in November, when the Gazelle was stopped in his tracks by a big cat named Wade Krzyzewski.
Want to come with me and Wally to the Super Bowl?
Oh, absolutely. My favorite team's in it. The Atlanta Falcons.
I'm exhausted.
Straight off the couch.
That's right. It's straight off the couch. It is, of course, me, myself, and I, along with my cohort, the ever affable and effervescent Adam Weidel. Adam, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing really good. I got a little football fix there for a couple days.
Yeah,
yeah. It wasn't actually like, seeing a guy throw a ball and catch it, but we got to see maybe the stars of tomorrow.
And for the love of God, can we just get to the fucking show?
Oh my God. So I was talking to you for a little bit on Thursday for round 1, and I think we were at like pick 20 or something like that. And you're like, I'm going to bed. And I'm just like, oh, I'm staying to the end. And you were like, you go, girlfriend.
You're a trooper, man. You're a trooper.
Well, was that ever a stupid mistake on my part? Because I don't know why, but every team decided to run that clock out in the first, even though they knew who they were taking.
Well, that's
15 minutes.
That's like the very first pick, the number 1 overall. You could see the Bears had that guy already decided, and they were sitting there, and I think the network was telling them, hold off. Just hold off.
Yeah, just let's do the posturing. But they did that 32 times.
Yeah.
It turned out it was 1:38 in the morning Eastern time. The draft finally, the final pick on the first round went through, and I was just like,
that's a little crazy.
Thank goodness.
That's a little crazy. And for the first time ever in the history of the draft, the first 10 selected were all offense.
Yeah, and 6 out of the first 12 were quarterbacks. So like a lot of offensive players in the first round.
So I'm thinking within a couple of years the league's just going to get rid of tackling altogether, make it flag football.
There's been some allusion to it, just the way that they keep making the rule changes. It's harder and harder for defensive players to do their job.
And everything kind of went according to plan. Nobody really stepped out until the 8th pick overall.
Well, we'll get to that one. So let's go through the draft. As expected, the Bears selected Caleb Williams as their quarterback of the future from USC. He was going to be the number 1 overall pick. I don't care who was number 1.
It was just going to be if the Bears traded out of the pick or not, right?
Yeah, he was going to be the number 1 pick. I'm pretty sure. That was their trade with Carolina, got them that pick. Commanders came in and they also selected a QB, Jaden Daniels. I mean, the Commanders needed a QB. Patriots came in at 3rd and they selected Drake May out of North Carolina, another QB. I'm not sure about that pick, to be honest. I know they needed a quarterback, but they were kind of batting some stuff around.
He can sit for a little while behind the veteran that they signed, and I bet by week 7, week 8 he's starting.
Maybe it depends on minicamp and stuff too. Like maybe he is ready. Who knows?
Right.
Arizona comes in at 4 and takes the best wide receiver on the board, Marvin Harrison Jr. Chargers don't make a real splash. They did what they had to do, and they got to protect Herbert. So they got Joe Alt at offensive tackle. That's smart.
Joe Alt's girlfriend looked like she was completely unimpressed with the whole process, didn't she?
She didn't want to be there. She didn't want to be there. It's probably she was tired. There was 15 minutes that was being taken up every selection, right? So she was like, "Oh, it's past my bedtime."
Yeah.
It was past mine. I went through to the end, but man, that was difficult. One of the most difficult things I've done in a while.
And then after that, New York took the second best wide receiver on the board.
Yeah, they take Malik Nabers or Nabers. I don't even know how to pronounce his name, but I'm sure some of the talking heads in the booth will fuck up his name enough, and he will correct them come the season. It's actually Malike.
we'll all know by week 3 how to pronounce his name, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, and then Titans come in, and of course Titans doing the Titans thing. They select an offensive tackle as well.
He's a big honking dude too, man.
He's like, what is his stats? I gotta see this dude's stats because he is a beast. I saw some of these guys, and I was just like,
his official for the rookie camps, 6'6" and 342.
Yeah, and he runs like a stupid number too. He's got 11-inch hands. He's got 35 and an eighth of an inch wingspan or arm span. This guy's ridiculous. I don't know what the heck happened there. They're playing music for me.
Sounds like one of us hit a pop-up, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing music for me. So I was just looking at his stats, and they're just like, I don't know, they're playing like Soul Asylum or something.
his arm length is 35 inches and an eighth.
And an eighth, yeah.
That's huge. I mean,
yeah,
that's a big honking tackle, dude. Man.
And they were showing him doing the 40, and he was fast.
Yeah.
Which is really scary for, I mean, he's going to make a splash in this league for sure. And then I guess we come in at 8 at the big shocker for.
I have a for the boys and girls out there that aren't the hardcore football guys like you and I are. I have an analogy for what happened there. You want to hear that now, or you want to wait a bit?
Well, we should tell them that the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, so. First things first, the Atlanta Falcons go out and spend $180 million on a starting quarterback, getting Kirk Cousins, and then
a four-year deal.
On a 4-year deal, and then they go in with their 8th pick and pick a quarterback.
Michael Penix Jr., who everybody agrees is he's got talent. He's a good quarterback, but he's not quite starter ready yet.
And they didn't think he was going to go in the top 10. He was going to be a second rounder, but the analysts had said they thought that he would be a second rounder. They thought him and Bo Nix would be the 2 second round QBs. So Atlanta kind of did I don't know. Atlanta did an Atlanta thing. I mean, they're becoming like the Browns. So. What was your analogy on that pick? Okay,
so you're married. You know what it's like. You have a wife, and so a married couple, they've been together a long time, and the husband's worked really hard and provided for his family. So he goes to the wife and says, "Honey, I would like to buy myself a gift. I want a car," and she goes, "Well," and she thinks about it. "I wanted to do the kitchen, but yeah, he's been a good provider. Go get your car." He goes, "I've got it narrowed down to 2 things. A 1977 Chevelle Supersport, 455 with the 4-speed, or a brand new C8 Corvette." She goes, "I don't care which one you buy, just don't go into debt for it." He finds a Chevelle 70 Supersport, drives down with the trailer, picks it up, throws it on the back of the trailer. Driving back home, he sees a brand new C8 Corvette sitting on the lot somewhere, and he finances it.
Because he wanted both.
That's kind of what happened.
Because the analogy doesn't work because it's almost like the wife wanted the second car in this situation.
She wanted the C8, yeah, but she was letting him decide, and it was going to be you can have one or the other, but not both. So he pulls up in the trailer in the Chevelle, and behind him was the guy from the dealership with the C8. And you kind of saw that breakdown with the ownership in the Atlanta draft room after the fact.
Those draft rooms, let's put a pin in this for a minute. Did you see some of those draft rooms? They were not exciting at all.
No. And I texted you about it. There was only 3 women in the Bears draft room. I only saw one in most of the draft rooms. I thought the league was going to try and diversify some of that. They wanted more female leadership to be more diverse. And
I think they just planted those ladies in there because
yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of ladies in the front office of these teams.
No.
So I think they could have been like wives or girlfriends of somebody, just for posturing, right?
Executive
like,
assistants.
It's good optics.
Executive assistants, maybe,
Who knows? But yeah, it would have been nice because they were in the back too. It wasn't like they were up front making decisions.
And some of them were set up, and they were more like a theater type of situation where you have a lower tier and a mid tier and a third tier, and others were set up like executive boardrooms where there's a big honking table. They're all sitting around a table.
Yeah, or then you have the Dallas Cowboys draft room, which was just like, what is this?
No, that was Jerry Jones's throne room. He had the center seat, and there were all the court jesters.
Yeah,
over there,
I was just gonna say, like, did he pull the football out of the stone? Like, how did he get that seat?
Yeah,
it was crazy.
That
it's
looked
like Game of Thrones like.
It was very Camelot-esque. Yeah.
So moving on in the draft, the Bears get the 9th pick overall, and they make a really good pick up here, in my opinion. They get Rome Dunze.
Now, the talking heads here in Chicago, they were on the same plane. This is kismet. No, it's not. It's a fucking coincidence. Can we stop? The Bears have this is the number 1 wide receiver quarterback tandem in Bears history. Can we wait till they've taken a snap?
Yeah, and can we not say the fix is in? Like, there was 8 other teams that picked, or 7 teams that picked after the Bears originally, and they could have picked this guy up.
Mm-hmm.
But he's the 3rd best wide receiver in this draft class, and the first 2 went.
Right.
So
yeah,
this is a good pickup for the Bears. I think the Bears are in really nice shape. That NFC North is going to be like a super competitive division next year.
It's going to be
just
fun
by
to
this
watch.
draft.
It's going to be fun to watch for the next few years because everybody's got young, strong quarterbacks, and instantly Detroit vaulted to the top with the oldest starting quarterback in the division.
And then we got the 10th pick, where the Vikings traded their 11th pick to the Jets for the 10th pick, which I didn't understand this move.
The Jets GM probably hinted that he wanted this pick.
Okay, so anyway, they flip-flop picks. The Jets were at 10. Minnesota was at 11. They flip-flop, so Minnesota gets 10. They pick J.J. McCarthy, QB, Michigan, which is a good pickup for them.
Who I really like. As a player, I really like J.J. McCarthy. He shows a lot of maturity.
They needed a quarterback badly, and the fact that they could get one at 10 was good. But then the Jets come in at 11, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this guy's name, but he's an offensive tackle.
Penn State, aficionado.
Yeah, Alumiwa Fashinu.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, but they pick an offensive tackle, so I really don't understand the whole flip-flop on the picks. Like,
well,
if they were going OT, they were going OT regardless. They weren't going to pick up JJ if he was still on the board. They have Rodgers, and they have a commitment to him.
The Niners did something similar to the Bears when they drafted Mitch Trubisky, though. The Bears traded with the Niners and moved up one, and it was just
true.
The GM just he pantsed him is what happened, and that happens. That's part of the draft drama.
And then the 12th pick, Denver Broncos go on the board and probably did the best thing that they could do for that franchise and got another quarterback. Now they got like 4 in that QB room. Bo Nix.
Well, they had to get a rookie quarterback because they're still paying Russell so fucking much money.
They got like 4 quarterbacks, though. That's the crazy thing. Las Vegas does the smart thing here, and they pick up the best tight end in the draft, Brock Bowers, or the best one looking on paper anyway. We don't know if he's going to be the best.
Right. How's he going to perform? That's the big picture, right?
At 13, the Saints come in, probably still laughing that, the Falcons took Michael Penix Jr. at 8. They take Taliste Fuaga, offensive tackle, Oregon.
You're never going to hear. This is another thing, Adam and I. If you're not listening to this show, you should be, and tell your friends that. If you're not listening to this show, you should be, because Adam and I were texting. we called not necessarily the exact person, but the position group a lot of these teams should have gone with, and we called it right.
Yeah, based on their needs, like just from watching the league throughout the year and like watching them have injury after injury at certain positions or whatever, we're looking at their weaknesses. We were pretty close, like not to be like, hey, we're football pros, but we were pretty close in our assessments.
Yeah, I feel good. Like I said, if you're not listening to the show, you should be, and tell your friends that, please.
And then one of my favorite names in the well, we're going to get to my favorite name, but one of the favorite names that I saw come up, the Colts take the first edge in the draft at 15, Laiatu Latu, so Polynesian guy.
And so we get 15 draft positions in before we get our first defensive player off the board.
Yeah, first edge guy was first guy was edge. Yeah, so that's the first defensive player. So top 14 picks were all offense.
Yeah, that's I don't want to say it's insane, but that doesn't usually happen. Usually a corner goes or a rusher goes, but this time it was all offense. That's very weird.
At 16, Seattle takes a defensive tackle. 17, the Vikings take edge. Bengals take an offensive tackle at 18. Rams take edge at 19. Pittsburgh takes offensive tackle at 20.
Yeah, the Rams have to replace Aaron Donald, so they almost had to go that direction.
I was like, that's a good pickup for them.
Yeah.
I actually clapped.
Yeah.
I was like, yay! And I'm not even a Rams fan. I was just like, good for you. You
recognized
identifying your weaknesses.
You recognized your need and you went after it. And their draft room looked extremely relaxed, didn't it?
Oh yeah, they were very chill. I was just like, they're not, but nobody seemed to be in a hurry about anything.
I don't even think I saw a jacket. I think they're all in just like khakis and a button-down shirt type of thing.
Yeah, like Miami's draft room, they pick at 21. They get edge. The guy's name is Chop Robinson.
I hope he doesn't get called for too many chop blocks.
Well, that's what I was thinking too, right? Eagles take the first corner.
Corners.
But it gets better. Jacksonville, they needed some wide receiver help, so they pick one at 23. The Lions grab a corner at 24. Packers grab offensive line at 25.
Personally, I'm happy with that pick, and I'll tell you why. It sounds like he's a project, and I want the Packers to have a project on the offensive line because I'm so sick and tired of them winning.
Right? The first center goes to Tampa Bay at 26. So that was an interesting pick. I mean, they needed a center. They had center problems. They did. Their longtime center, I can't remember his name, redheaded dude. He retired or he's moved on or whatever. He was. They had problems at center ever since Tommy Terrific retired from there. So did everybody else. So Arizona comes in at 27, and they get defensive end. Xavier Worthy for the Kansas City Chiefs. They get this fucking deal. Oh my God!
Who was basically a Tariq Hill clone.
Buffalo's on the clock. Oh yeah. So this one drove me nuts. Buffalo was on the clock for 15 minutes, and then Kamish comes out and he's all like, "The Buffalo Bills have traded to the Kansas City Chiefs for the 28th pick. They are now on the clock." And then we had to do the whole process all over.
Why?
And they get Xavier Worthy, who is the 5th best wide receiver in this draft. Just another weapon for Patrick Mahomes. And Buffalo doesn't pick in the first round.
Why?
The silliest thing I've ever seen.
Buffalo needs to get past the Chiefs. That's their bugaboo. So why would you give them a first-round draft pick?
They gave him a pick.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's bad managing there.
The Lions were on the clock at 29. Another swap to Dallas. Dallas picked up an offensive tackle. Ravens came in at 30, picked up a corner.
Corners.
San Fran came in at 31, got a wide receiver. And then, oh my God, 32, right? This is the pick that Buffalo traded for with Kansas City, right? Buffalo has made a trade with Carolina. So that pick got shuffled from what should have been 28 for Buffalo that went to 32, made a trade with Carolina to get the 32nd pick. Xavier Legette, wide receiver from South Carolina.
So Buffalo.
So that is our first round complete.
So Buffalo trades themselves out of the first round.
Yeah, they did not pick in the first round.
Why?
They picked first in the second round, though.
Still.
They got a wide receiver.
Yeah, but still, man, you need if they want to get past that hump of the playoffs, they need first round talent.
This is my favorite part of round 2. At pick 40, Philadelphia selects a corner.
Yay.
At pick 41, this is my favorite name in the whole league right now. At 41, the New Orleans select another corner, but his name is the best.
Name. I love that name.
Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Yay, Kool-Aid.
Yeah, so I looked him up. And I was like, there's no fucking way his name is Kool-Aid. Right?
Right, it's a nickname, right, yeah.
Right? There's no fucking way his name is Kool-Aid. I was like, why did he pick Kool-Aid? And, dude, his mom did not like him. She named him Ga or Ja apostrophe Quincy. Ga Quincy.
I'd change my name to Kool-Aid too.
I would change my fucking name to Kool-Aid too. So I'm just like, I can hardly wait to watch Saints games so that everybody says, here comes Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Think about this though, because you don't just change your name. You got to go in front of a judge and have it. There are some things that have to happen, you know.
Yeah, you can't just be like, oh, I'm just going to be known as a symbol now or anything.
So the woman, the clerk at the courthouse goes, I'm sorry, what?
And then she looks down at his given name and she's like, oh, totally. Let's get that pushed through for you. I just felt bad for her. I was just like, how could you name your kid Kool-Aid? There's no way.
That's fucking hilarious.
So that was my favorite name of the draft. And then at 42 and 43, Houston and Arizona both pick up corners.
Everybody needs corners.
There was 4 corners in a row that went. And then at 50, another corner went. And at 61 and 64, another corner went. And then I was watching round 3, and it was just corner. And I was like, holy wow. And then I had to kind of give up on the rest of the draft because it was just taking way too long.
Yeah, I hung in as long as I could. I think I made it till the Bears made their tackle, their tackle pick. What was that? 75. Pick number 75 overall, offensive tackle. Kieran.
Oh, yeah. So round 3, pick 11.
Yeah.
They got Kieran Amagaji.
But that's when I had to bail on the draft. I'd lasted that long, and I was like, oh, my God, I can't handle this. I mean, the endless hype and the talking heads repeating and regurgitating, and I get it.
I did like Rich Eisen's perspectives, though.
Rich Eisen's got some insight, yeah.
He did a nice job steering the ship, but he couldn't keep them in line. They just kept talking, and he was just like, well, the pick is in, and I just like, oh, thanks for shutting them up, Rich.
Yeah. Maybe not have 4 people on the panel next year. Okay,
yeah.
Two's probably not enough, but I'm thinking what we're seeing is 4 is too many.
Yeah, and then 5 gets to be interesting too. It's almost like having 3 because everybody has to pick their spots to talk.
Yeah, and the whole. I mean, Jesus Christ, the build up to that draft was. I actually texted you, just kick the fucking ball.
Yeah, let's go.
Do we need you to bring out 5?
I don't need. I don't need to wait 15 minutes, especially in the first round. I don't need to wait 15 minutes 32 times.
Well, not only just before they even started the picks, they bring out 5 former or current Lions to pump the crowd up. What the fuck?
Oh, it was just awful.
And I get it. This is it's the NFL Network. This is your bread and butter. This is what you do. But for God's sakes, you got to speed that up. When you say the draft starts at 7 p.m. Central Time, if you haven't got the first draft pick started rolling at 7:05, you're doing something wrong. Because you've got all fucking day long to do all the preamble shit.
Yeah, they could have just sat there all day.
Yeah.
Like they do on like Super Bowl Sunday. Is like they start at like 8 a.m. and just talk all day long.
Yeah. So at 7, if you're not, if the commissioner should come out, okay, maybe 7:02, 7:03. But if you're not kicking, if you're not going, the number one draft is, if the Chicago Bears are on the clock, if you're not saying that by 7:05, you're doing something wrong.
I don't even think the first team should be on the clock. They should have their pick ready.
And I think the Bears did. I think they were told to wait while the talking heads at the desk had time to pontificate.
But I don't think that the league should even allow for clock on pick number one.
No, pick number one. I agree 100%. Unless,
like you've had months to think about it.
Unless, you know what? I'm willing to even. Okay, you've got 5 minutes if there's a last minute trade possibility. But if you have your pick and you're not going to trade, you have to declare that.
Yeah.
But if you want to give
15 minutes, if you want to give 15 minutes times 4 is an hour. So we got 4 picks in an hour.
Yeah, but if you want to give them the opportunity to open up for last minute trade negotiation, I think that's fair. 5 minutes is fair. But after that, everybody shouldn't be getting 15 minutes on the clock. It should be 10.
So around pick 73, things got really interesting. The trades started really happening.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. So
just before your guys got their OT, Minnesota traded to Detroit, who traded to Dallas to pick up a guard at 73.
Cooper Beebe.
Seattle traded to Washington, who traded to Philadelphia, who traded to Houston, who picked up a safety at 78. Jacksonville traded to Atlanta, who traded to Arizona, who traded to Indianapolis to pick up an offensive tackle.
You have back-to-back draft picks that were traded 4 times before the selection was made.
Right? So here's my favorite one. At 86, Philadelphia trades to Houston, who trades to Indianapolis, who trades to Philadelphia. So Philadelphia got their pick back, who trades to San Francisco.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so Philly had the pick originally. They traded it to Houston, who traded it to Indy. Indy said, hey, Philly, you want your pick back? They said, sure, and then traded it to San Francisco.
That's...
And then San Francisco picked up a guard.
Well, San Francisco likes to pick up their guys. They like that offensive line shit. And I see we had 1, 2, 3 compensatories all stacked one by one, next to one another at 98, 97,
yeah, they
96.
got the compensatory at 98. Philly traded their compensatory to Pittsburgh. I don't know why.
That brings us to the end of the third round. And after that, those final, rounds 4 through 7, they're just they're kind of fast and furious because
they're kind of quick.
Yeah, because they're.
I think they take a lot of time off the clock. I think they only have like 4 minutes to make a pick or something.
I think there's that, and I think after 2 days, I think even the front offices are like, let's just get.
They're just like, just fill up the roster now. We don't care. Just whatever you think we need.
Let's just get this shit over with. But again, there was, we don't need 15 minutes at the first round.
Well, I mean, you need 15 minutes for some of these. Like at pick number 120, Rams trade to Pittsburgh, who traded the Eagles, who traded the Dolphins. At 123, Cleveland trades to Houston, to Philadelphia, back to Houston. Like 129, Detroit trades to Minnesota, to New York Jets, to San Francisco. Like...
Maybe, okay. So we cut the clock down. We don't do as much preamble before the thing starts. We give the first round, the first overall 5 minutes instead of 15, and nobody gets 15. Everybody gets 10 on the first night. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, or something. Something's got to give. Like, I like these later rounds where they trade them back and forth, and like they're getting their same pick back. Like another one at 155, Pittsburgh to the Rams, to Carolina, to Indy, to Philadelphia. Like that. That was a lot of trades, man.
But it every time that trade happens, the clock restarts.
Yeah. And then we've got compensatories at 168. New Orleans traded to Green Bay, who traded to Buffalo. So Buffalo's finally getting some picks, and Buffalo selected edge.
That's not the way I would have gone if I were Buffalo.
Buffalo needs a lot of help. I think they're in a rebuild for a couple more years. I don't think they're getting past KC again.
No.
I don't think they have a chance.
I don't either, and especially since they got rid of their one wide receiver.
Well, they traded to Kansas City, the team they can't beat in the playoffs.
Yeah,
let's trade our best selection.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to send you a white flag next time. Just put that up,
Yeah.
and we'll all know that you're giving up. And then I want the league to I don't know if I'm going to have to take legal action against them or not, but I've been Mr. Irrelevant since I was born in 1962. And if you're gonna have a Mr. Irrelevant in the draft, I should be getting some sort of royalty payments for this.
Yeah, they got to give you something.
Yeah, throw me a bone here, damn it, because I am Mr. Irrelevant, fuckers.
So I love later on in at 189, Denver trades to the Rams, to Buffalo, to Houston, to Detroit. At 90, New Orleans trades to Green Bay, who trades to the Jets, to the Philadelphia Eagles. At 200, Dallas trades to Houston, to Buffalo, to Carolina. At 203, Houston trades to Cleveland, to Denver, to the Jets, to Minnesota. It's like, this is crazy.
I'm thinking that late in the draft, a lot of those trades were just because they didn't know who they were going to pick and they didn't have a lot of time to get it done. Fuck it, let's just trade.
Like, quick,
just trade.
Hot potato.
Just because you don't want to lose that draft. You don't want to time it out and lose that draft pick altogether.
Bills pick up an offensive tackle at the first pick of round 7, but they got that by a trade from Carolina to Tennessee to Kansas City to Buffalo. That's the pick that they got for giving up that wide receiver. Stupid.
Yeah, that's bad juju, man.
I like seeing some of these, like New England trades to Las Vegas, and Vegas picks up a safety. But some of these are ridiculous. Like, they're just like 5-way trades. It's like, holy shit.
I guess Vegas is going to stick with their Mr. Questionable quarterback this year, is what it looks like.
They didn't pick anybody offensive wise that was going to make a splash, unless they're waiting for someone to become available.
Just that tight end is all they got. Yeah.
Yeah, they really only got the tight end. I'm going to see if there's any notable picks. There goes again. It's like,
yeah, you got some sort of pop up going on.
Some sort of pop up just keeps popping up on me.
Yeah.
You know what? Anyway. Yeah, I didn't see the Raiders do a lot. I didn't see the Bills do a lot. The Bears did really good. The Commanders did really well in the draft. Cincinnati picked up some pieces that they needed.
As a Bears fan, a long-suffering Bears fan, I think Ryan Poles is doing a pretty good job. He recognized that they needed to rebuild, so he completely wiped the team down to the bare bones and then slowly rebuilt it. And this year, anybody can crash a team. Can you build it back up? And he's building it back up in a really good way, I think.
Well, let's hope. I mean, that division is going to be crazy, so it might be the wrong time to do that sort of rebuild, right?
Right. Yeah.
Especially as how competitive that division is
right
now.
Yeah.
Green Bay's looking really good with their young team. I didn't really pay attention to what Green Bay was doing because they just keep adding through the draft. Like, they're being smart. They've gotten rid of all their dead cap space. And they're just starting. They're starting fresh. They're having a younger team. Detroit's super strong, obviously. Minnesota was looking good until Kurt went down last year, and now they're kind of in a rebuild mode. And then you've got the Bears, who were really putting some good pieces together, and they made some moves. I don't know about the whole Caleb Williams things. I think Justin Fields was starting to come into his own.
Did you see that Pittsburgh is not going to pick up his 5th-year option?
Yeah, he's going to be a free agent.
It only cost him, a 6th or 7th round draft pick. It didn't cost him a lot, but I mean.
So here's my my funny scenario. Pittsburgh's not going to pick up his extension. He's going to become a free agent. Caleb Williams is a bust, and Justin Fields ends up back in Chicago.
That, you know what? If we just need Caleb Williams to wind up in Buffalo, and then they'll have our last 3 first-round draft pick quarterbacks on there.
Oh, Pittsburgh, you mean?
Pittsburgh, yeah, because they had Mitch Trubisky for a hot minute.
Because they had Trubisky for a while,
and now they got Justin Fields. And you know what? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Rex Grossman had spent a season in Pittsburgh as well.
Probably.
He was like their practice squad guy, but I thought they picked him up for like 1 season. Yeah, overall the draft, I liked what a lot of teams did. We knew what they were going to do in round 1. There was quite a bit of come round 2 there was quite a bit of trading, but round 1 the Raiders take the tight end. They need a tight end, but they really need some sort of like answer at quarterback. Yeah, I mean that guy's spending too
unless
much...
they're building a running game and they're just gonna have him like hand the ball off
ground and pound
every play.
I mean Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl that way, so maybe.
Right. I'm thinking the best pick in this round is the one that got away from Buffalo. Like I think Kansas City got a wicked deal on this Xavier Worthy kid.
And why would you do that? I just don't understand. Why would you do that?
I don't know. I don't know what Buffalo's thinking.
Apparently
they're in a tough division too.
Apparently they're not thinking, Adam. That's what I'm taking away from this. Is they're not thinking.
Like Miami's going to be healthy. Miami's going to give them a run for their money. Miami, they only have to worry about Miami till December.
So who are the draft winners?
The draft win. I think Chicago wins for sure. With 2 picks in the top 10, they picked up 2 things they really needed, as well as they've built around their free agency that they've picked up and the trades that they've picked up. So they have some veterans, and then they've got some young bucks. And I think this Rome kid is, I think he's the real deal. I think he's going to be like the Justin Jefferson of the Bears. So
Bears, is there anybody else who won the draft?
So Bears, I think the Vikings did really well. They needed an answer at quarterback with Kurt going to Atlanta. And they may very well get an extra draft pick next year if the tampering goes through, if the league investigates. So I think they did really well. The Jets, picking up like the first OT on the board, or the second OT on the board, very smart. I also like the Tennessee Titans, what they're doing. They did a lot in free agency, and they are just accessorizing with rookies in the draft.
So who are the draft losers?
Okay, so obviously, I think Arizona loses here, to be honest. They had 2 picks in the top.
That's a reoccurring theme for Arizona, though.
They pick up Marvin Harrison Jr., but I really don't think Kyler Murray is the answer for that team. Like, I think it's a wasted draft pick. I don't have a lot of faith in Kyler.
I don't either. Unless they're thinking next year they make their move.
He can throw a ball, but he's only like 4 feet tall, and all these guys have got wingspans that go like 8 feet in the air.
And when he runs, he looks like a toddler running away from you.
We had that conversation. He looks like he got into the fridge and stole a chocolate bar or something. He's trying to get away from mom. The Giants did really well as well. They answered some questions, but I think Arizona's the big loser in this draft, as well as Buffalo.
Hang on, I was looking for something.
Carolina Panthers, I mean, you could argue that they are the losers in this draft, but they didn't want to draft.
No, they didn't. All right, well, I guess that wraps it up for this week, Adam. Unless you have
wraps it up for this season, buddy.
Wraps up for this season.
Yeah, so that's season 1 in the books.
Yeah, that's the plan moving forward. This is the last one for this year. Next fall, late summer, early fall, we'll kick it back up. We haven't decided yet if we're going to have the first show be after the first week or like a week beforehand do a preview show. We're still discussing that in the background.
Yeah, we'll do an 8-hour 2024 draft style show leading up to it.
Yeah, we got to get a 13 or 14 guests that have absolutely no fucking relevance to the situation. maybe have my daughter come in here and talk about her cat.
Yeah, we'll get some hockey people on.
So, for my partner, the ever affable and effervescent Adam Weidel. Adam, where can the boys and girls find us?
Oh, yeah, just check us out at Straight Off the Couch on the Book of Faces, or you could just type it in to a Google search. It probably shows up. We have a link tree and all that good stuff, and you can check out all our links there. And hit us up if you miss us. We're going to miss you guys and doing this show every week for, the next few months, and then we'll see you again probably late August.
Everybody get out and touch some grass, man. It's that time of year where the weather's turning nice and you don't want to be inside anyway. So get out and touch some grass, do some yard work, play in the sun, have a couple of adult beverages.
I'm already ahead of you.
Attaboy. So for Adam, everybody be safe, God bless. Have a nice summer.